This is a variation on the overconsumption myth. It's sort of the overconsumption myth housing division. And people see the new houses springing up in the suburbs, and they see that the square footage is up. They see that they have spa bathrooms and granite countertops. That's fine. That's what's happening at the top end. Let's talk about where the median earning family is living in the United States today. The family earning at the median has increased its housing size. It's gone from 5.7 rooms to 6.1 rooms. And what the federal data show is that on average, that either means they've picked up a second bathroom or a third bedroom.
I was going to say, it sounds like a bathroom.
So we're not talking about families who are living in huge housing. Indeed, today's median earning family is more than twice as likely to be living in a house that's more than 25 years old than their families were a generation ago. So they are moving into older housing. They're moving into modestly sized housing, but here comes the hooker on what's happened to the prices of the houses that they're living in. Today's median earning family living in that median house is more than 4 times more likely to be house poor. That is, dedicating more than 35% of their income to just making the mortgage payment than they were a generation ago. What's happened in the United States is that families with children believe that the number of places that they can buy homes and still send their children to public schools is shrinking. And so families are bidding up prices in places with decent school districts, and the consequence is their mortgage as a proportion of their total income is reaching way out of proportion. At a time when the average male's wages have not increased by a full 1%, the amount that the family is spending on mortgages has gone up 69%.
You know, there was a story in the Times just this week or last week about families who had bought in the Poconos who live in New York City.
I was interviewed for this story. I talked to these people.
Well, it was a textbook example of what you're talking about. They sell them at prices that are too high. They can't make. They end up losing their houses.
Yeah, and you know, this is the consequence of losing a house is more than just financial. The children lose their schools. The family loses a lot of their self-identity and a lot of their hold on the middle class. We're watching middle-class families who are being pushed out of their homes, who are being foreclosed against, or who are selling under duress. It turns out to be the same thing. They're moving back in with mom and dad, so we end up with 3 generations in modestly sized housing. They're moving into apartments in much rougher neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Families are losing their hold on their place in the middle class, and more critically for the families, they're losing what they see as the opportunity for their children to get the kind of education they're going to need to make it into the middle class themselves.
Yeah.
This excerpt is brought to you by the Massachusetts School of Law, the leader of reform in legal education and a leader in multimedia education for the public. To view the full interview and for a full listing of MSL's programs, log on to mslaw.edu.